Morning, everyone. We'll start the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God, we thank you for the opportunity to do the business of the county today. We pray that you would guide the commissioners as they make decisions that affect the county. Ask you to watch over and protect our workers as they serve the people of the county. Pray in Jesus.
I got a message from Danny that he is driving and would be available by phone if we need him for anything.
Okay. I've read the minutes from last meeting. I make a motion to approve them as written.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bills.
Make a motion, we pay the bills in the amount of $782,613.58. That's my motion.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I've got a few things. So the sheriff's prisoner count. Yeah, I did make copies.
Sheriff's report, total prisoners 39, 10 releases this past week. Total prisoners in 39, farmed out 0, farmed in 19, 911 calls 69, total jail contacts 3,864, total calls for service 490, civil service papers served 5, VIN inspections 6, new cases opened 11, cases closed 16, vehicle crashes 10, SRO activities 164, bailiff contacts 97, 10 livestock out.
I think I had emailed this to you guys, but that's a corrected copy on the park report. There was an error on what Sherry had sent me before I did the first one, so she sent me her corrected report, so I updated this one to reflect.
And that was the one, the mistake was on the Airbnb, right? Yeah.
And she's not sure how she got it on there the way it was to start with.
Okay.
But anyway, this is the corrected amount.
Okay.
I also had an email from Missy that she was not going to make it over this morning, but she said she really didn't have anything to report. So.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's it for me.
You got anything right now? Or
Nothing that's time sensitive.
okay. AMR?
Good morning, Galen Anderson with AMR. I just have numbers today. For the past 7 days, we've done 19 transports, and so far, month to date, we're at 32 transports. So it's actually picked up a little bit in terms of volume. We still have the open positions, still continue recruiting to try to fill them. I think that's about all we got. Anything for me?
I
No.
don't have anything.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gavin. Randy?
Good morning, Commissioners. I gave you a copy of this week's report. We had 11 incidents for the week. Brings our total up to 496 for the year. When we do budget, we based it on a 500 call average, so we're right around average. We still have a month and a half left, but fairly busy year. We have fire board meeting this Thursday night. We are still short one member. It's a non-fire department member out of District 2. So we still need you guys to appoint a member for that. out of that district. So we're short on that. But other than that, I do not have anything.
I don't have anything.
All right.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Sean?
Sean West, Public Works Administrator. I have the information Jeremy got back, just to add to the stuff that you have on the buyback program. I'll try to have a recommendation for you next Monday on that, after I get a chance to look at all of it as well, and we can discuss it then. Zener Road, I was in a online meeting Friday on that project with the engineers, the state and the federal Fish and Wildlife folks. That project came in a lot higher than what we thought it would come in at. The wing wall, one needs almost total repair, and then some footing work, and the other three wing walls would need repair as well. Not to the extent that the one that's caving in would. The total on that came in for an estimate on the project well over $600,000. So as a group, we looked at the funding, and the funding as far as FLAP and Fish and Wildlife would not be available until 2027. So we're going to back up, have some discussions. I'm going to look at the possibility to do a short-term, whatever short-term repairs and patching we can do on it. And then we're going to discuss with the engineers the possibility of changing that project, instead of doing a bridge, doing a culvert system, and allowing water to come over it seasonally, so that it would be a lot less expense to the county, given the fact that it doesn't have any field access. It's basically an access for wildlife enthusiasts and people using the federal ground. We, as a group, decided that we needed to look at other alternatives that were a lot less expensive. I'll bring the shop foremans in next week. Todd will be speaking today, and I believe that's all I'm going to have for you this morning. Oh, and I believe we've got a hearing today that I've got the documents for. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
Jessica, you had something?
Jessica Hightower, Economic Development. Sorry, I can't talk very loud today. I finally got a date for completion for the cover on the building over at the airport. They're saying that it should be done December 23rd. That's done manufacturing, then they'll ship it to us. So I was excited to finally get a date. And then, do you want to talk about the committee policies?
I can do that.
Okay, I've got copies here for you guys.
Oh, I make copies too.
Here.
Okay.
This is the proposal that we've come up with, working together, all of
Any
it.
more? Did you get one?
One.
Here.
I don't know if you want to go through it now or study it over and talk about it next week, or whatever you want to do, but.
Here, we can go.
We got time. You sent it out.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
I think we've made one adjustment since we sent it out.
The only addition we've made since then is item number 12, which allows the commission to exempt committees on a case-by-case basis for good cause from Section 7, Section 8, or Section 9, which are, several of our staff people that work with the committees expressed concern about a few of the committees might have trouble maintaining operation if the strict term limits were applied.
What's the committees that's in concern?
The airport committee and the
Okay.
child care committee, they're very,
The,
the child care.
the, the airport committee and the what,
Childcare.
childcare. Those are the only
They're
two.
very niche committees, and the people who are on them are the people who are
Because-
interested in being on them.
Here's my thing with this, Gary, is if we leave it like that, like it is right now, we're back to where we started from, in my opinion, because they can say, oh, I don't want to replace so-and-so right now, instead of naming those two committees.
Well, I didn't
What-
know, we could name those committees specifically if you want to, but what if, there's another committee that needs that?
Then
same-
we just amend the policy, or,
Okay.
I mean, that's, what do you think? Because there's gonna be other county commissioners come along, and if we do the way it is written right here, that it just reverts back to the old way. I'm just gonna exempt so-and-so from this committee. That's what I don't want.
The Emergency Management Committee would also be one of the ones that,
Because
It's a flowing thing, though. It's
No, I understand.
self-appointed almost, right?
What she's talking about the NPC, where like if the railroad had a certain person that they have just an emergency management,
Right, sure.
then it's that corporation that's sitting under every.
But like you and I had talked, or you had mentioned up here, that it's pretty much, we don't appoint anybody anyway. So, I mean, why would we even put them in there? Because,
well, the only reason to put them in would be to make sure that it states in the policy that we're not trying to control that committee, if Gary thinks that that's something we need to put in there.
we could just list the ones that you want exempt, that's fine.
do you have a problem with that?
I don't know.
I'm good either way.
And if we do that, then I've read it several times, and I'm not a big fan of the, oh, you got it there. You did, good. Okay. No, I'm good with everything, if that's the case.
Okay.
We'll just have to wait till Danny gets back to vote on it.
So I'm ready to vote on it next week if Danny's here,
Okay.
okay?
Sounds good.
But thank you for the hard worker, for everyone that worked on this. I think it's a good thing.
Do you guys have anything for me?
I'd just like to see, I mean, I know it's a big commitment, but if we could get more people to step up and do it, I mean, just for a one-term deal or two.
Right.
But it's,
Some of those are staggered already, and you they did a good job on staggering the hospital committee or whatever it's called.
Hospital,
The,
board staff.
the planning and zoning is staggered as well. Mine
Yeah.
is, I think mine is the only one who's not.
Now would be how is this going to play in?
This it instructs them to make that happen.
Okay.
So would we decide which seats would be staggered where at our next meeting, or do they need to appoint?
I think your board will decide.
Okay,
the board will set it up and stagger
Right.
the people, yeah, amongst the
we can
committee.
do that. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Jessica.
We're ready for the hearing now.
Well, yeah, we can do that now. This is the hearing on, gating, or first of all, making Iliff Road a minimum maintenance road and gating it. Did I send you documents on it? I couldn't remember if I did or not. We passed a statement of intent to make that a minimum maintenance road a couple weeks ago. It's Iliff Road from a point 3,400 feet north of 2,400 Road, north to the intersection of Iliff Road and the county line. The first step is to make it a minimum maintenance road, and then we can allow it.
You got to open it up for a hearing first. You got to
Yeah,
announce that.
yeah. So the first step in the process of making a minimum maintenance was publish it, and the second now is a public hearing. So we ask if anybody has any comments on this proposal.
Does anybody have any comments on the closure of minimum maintenance road, Iliff Road?
You heard my comments, so don't need me saying.
No, you're good. So you're fine with it.
So then, we have an order that orders, this, road to be deemed minimum maintenance within those timeframes. You've got the order?
Yeah.
Okay.
You get to read it.
Pursuant KSA 685102, the County Commissioners of Linn County, Kansas propose to declare the following section of roadway as minimum maintenance: Iliff Road from a point 3,400 feet north of 2400 Road to the intersection of Iliff Road and Linn County line, Linn County, Kansas. The Commissioners find that the above road is not a public utility by reason of neglect, non-use, or inconvenience, that portions of the said road have become practically impassable. The road is used primarily as access to farm ground or pasture land only, and that the necessity for said road as a public utility for any other purposes does not justify the expenditure of funds to put the same in condition for any other purpose other than minimum maintenance road for access to farm or pasture land. This publication shall appear in the official newspaper giving notice that a public hearing will be conducted on and in the county annex during the regular meeting of Board of County Commissioners, which begins at 9 a.m.
Actually, that's not the order.
I'm reading your proposal.
Yeah, that's the notice. Here's the order here.
Okay. And the order itself is, whereas the governing body of Linn County, Kansas is authorized by KSA 685102 to declare a road within the county minimum maintenance when the board determines said road is used only occasionally or is used only by few individuals, and whereas the Board of County Commissioners has determined the below described portion of Iliff Road in Linn County is used only occasionally and only by few individuals, and whereas the Board of County Commissioners on today's date,
Given orders to number.
or I'm sorry, beyond whatever the date we published, notice of hearing on said declaration of the below described portions of the road as minimum maintenance, whereas the county was convened on today's date and the county commissioners heard all the comments and recommendations now thereof, it is hereby found and ordered by the governing body of Linn County, Kansas, Iliff Road from a point 3,400 feet north of 2,400 Road to the intersection of Iliff Road and Linn County line, Linn County, Kansas, should be hereby declared minimum maintenance roads pursuant KSA 685102, signing notifying the public pursuant the above cited statute shall be posted on said roads within 10 days of this order. This order shall be effective on its passage and publication in the official newspaper of Linn County, Kansas.
David, we've never had numbers for these kinds of orders, have we? I think so. I didn't think so.
So this is an adoption or
Yeah, just to move to adopt, to issue this order, making Iliff Road minimum maintenance in that area.
that's my motion.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
So the second thing then is to issue an order to allow it to be gated. The parties have signed a petition and agreement in which they have spelled out their obligations in terms of this gating. And so the order to gate the road says, whereas pursuant to KSA 68126, certain property owners filed with the Board of Commissioners of Linn County, Kansas on October 24, 2022, a petition to gate a public road, and whereas the proposed gates would be located on Iliff Road at a point 3,400 feet north of 2,400 Road and on Iliff Road at its intersection with Linn County line, and would restrict access to that portion of Iliff Road lying between those 2 points in Linn County. Now therefore, the Board of Commissioners of Linn County, Kansas hereby finds and orders, number one, the land affected by the proposed gate is largely used as pasture and it's otherwise undeveloped. Number two, gating the road as petitioned will not materially affect the traveling public. Number three, petitioners are hereby granted permission to construct gates across the county road at the following locations: on Iliff Road at a point 3,400 feet north of 2,400 Road, and on Iliff Road at the intersection with the county line. It shall be the duty of the petitioners to construct and maintain said gate in a manner consistent with the letter and spirit of KSA 68-126. The property owners on the affected section of 1,200 supposed to be Iliff Road. mistake. Entered into the agreement between themselves governing access through and maintenance of said gate. If material conditions change, the Board of Commissioners reserves the right to amend, alter, or rescind this order. This order shall be entered upon the Journal of the Board of County Commissioners as required by statute. So,
That's my motion to adopt that and, or that order and to have that one correction.
right.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Well, go ahead and sign it.
Sure.
Correction, the correct.
The footage.
We use the footage you gave us.
Getting old. The footage though, okay, because of the terrain and because of, okay, keeping somebody from going around, going through the fence, the ditches, the trees, how exact does that footage have to be as far as
Reasonable.
reasonable?
Yeah.
Because my process of thinking, there's a couple of big trees here and here, that would be ideal to put the gates around or by, then that way that would keep them from going around and going through the fences and
As
stuff
long as
like
it's
that.
reasonably close, that's fine.
Okay, and then the other question is, does the county have any, specifications on the material used for the gates and as such? And if you don't, for the sake of argument, can you come up with specifications of what would be used? Because, you know, what I might use versus what, the neighbor south might use could be two different things, and
I'll work with you on the materials and
Okay.
posting for the gate. We'll make it reasonable. We'll work together. Figure it out.
all right. Good.
Good.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Since the correction is on the first page, go ahead and sign the second page and I'll correct the first page and add it to it. And
Are you just gonna email me a copy?
I'll email you
Correction.
the correction, yeah.
Got a spot for me to sign too.
Yeah.
You're all alone now.
You want me to hang on to that?
Yeah, hang on to that. and I'll email the correction.
When
You
the vote-
can change front pages.
We've got somebody coming in scheduled for 9:45, which I was hoping we'd be ready by then. Apparently we are.
Yeah.
But she was wanting to get here and then go on to another county today too.
That's one of those things.
This is a revised policy letter on county assistance with CD disposal. The only revision is section 3 at the very end. It says any reduction in fees granted under this policy shall be valid for 90 days from the date of its approval. Grantees may apply for an extension of that time upon showing good cause for failure to complete the demolition within that time frame. Such extension may be granted by a majority vote of the commission.
Darren's good with that?
I didn't know you was gonna do it. That's why I was headed in here for. Yes.
So what, they'll get a notice at the landfill when it starts and then
Did we get that part worked out? How you're gonna deal with the landfill?
knowing when to,
Yeah, the way we do it now, as soon as one's approved, I send to Al notification. with the number that's applied to it and, the name and address. That way he knows who it is. And then the problem was we didn't know when people were done. So that's just, I'll start checking that, and plus them knowing a time frame of being able to do that, or to get it done. I think this will change a lot, and so it's not drug out forever.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Make the motion. We adopt this policy letter 2022-03.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You just need to sign one. I think I only put.
Yeah, Jim's the one that signed it.
And just so you know, David, if you had a chance to read it, but it repeals the earlier one rather than amending it. It just repeals it and replaces it, so. And on that application, I put in bold letters down there on the bottom of the second and third page that it expires in 90 days, so that way they have.
From approval date.
Yeah, I seen that. Thank you, Gary.
Yep.
Also, I need 10 minutes of executive session.
For what?
Legal or personnel or legal? I can't remember what it was.
Personally legal?
Personally legal.
It would be a legal issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Have anything else, Gary, or?
No, not really. If you want me to kill 5 minutes, I can. I got something that I couldn't.
We
But,
got 15 minutes before we have
or if you want to go do that executive session, we can just get it done.
okay. I'll make a motion. We go into executive session for 10 minutes for legal with Darren.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye. On with, legal for another 5 minutes.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No action from executive session, and I guess we'll go to Tracy Barton. State your name and who you're with, please.
Good morning. My name is Tracy Barton, and I'm with the Kansas Natural Resource Coalition. And I am here to approach the county for membership with our organization. And I wanted to give you some handouts. Did you
Sure.
by chance get anything? Okay, let me go ahead and pass these out real fast. So basically, we are a coalition of counties. We currently have 30 county members. What we do is we monitor and, when appropriate, intervene to reduce the impact of the federal government and their overreach when it impacts counties in the area of natural resources and land use. So one of the things that we've done in the last year is we typically work at the federal level. Excuse me, but we had an opportunity to work at the state level last year when the legislature was gathering testimony as it related to 30 by 30 and national heritage areas. We provided, excuse me, public testimony on behalf of our counties, and we came as an expert witness to explain what 30, are you familiar with what 30 by 30
We are.
is? Yeah. Okay. So we were able to add some definition to that. We also, our group took a stance against 30 by 30 as well as the national heritage areas last year at our meeting. As you can see on the map, the majority of our counties, our member counties, have been in the western part of the state. Coffee County joined this year for the first half of the year. And I just spoke at the KCCA meeting last month, and I have about 12 to 15 counties in the eastern central part of the state that are interested in becoming members as well. Some other things that we've been monitoring besides 30 by 30 and National Heritage Area, the Endangered Species Act is something that we've taken an active approach on this year. They've tried to change the 10J rule. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. What that means is they, with endangered species and threatened species, they've previously been limited to relocate animals based on their historical range. And what they're trying to do is change the wording so that the historical range is excluded, meaning that they would have free range to take any endangered or threatened species and locate it wherever they see fit. The danger in that is that once that happens, if a critical habitat is eventually defined, which we believe it would be, then they're going to control how you use your property. So we have submitted comments. In fact, that was a national endeavor. We have a sister organization located in Montana, and we submitted joint comments for both states contradicting that rule change.
So there's only two states that have.
So far, we have Utah is in the process of forming an organization, as are a couple of other states as well.
How are you gathering funds?
Our funds are solely based on membership from the counties.
That's it?
Yes,
From no lobby and then nobody else?
nobody else. And we're not considered lobbyists. We are actually considered an extension of county government.
Okay.
Yeah, and our membership dues is $5,000 a year.
Okay.
Any other questions? We do have a website if you're interested in looking at more information, but we would love to have Linn County as a member.
Okay. Well, we have a commissioner going today, so
Okay,
something we'd have to think about anyway, so.
Yeah.
okay, very good. Well, I look forward to hearing from you if
Okay.
something you're interested in. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Tracy.
Tracy.
Thank you.
Burton, you have something?
agenda, just had a free morning, and I like to come by when I have time, so I just thought I'd stop in, give you a quick update. Things are going pretty good. I think last time I was here, I told you we had a trial at the end of October. That ended up not going, but we've got another one December 7th, so I think that one looks likely to go. So we'll have our first jury trial here December 7th, most likely, so that'll be exciting. We have
Pearl Harbor Day.
Is that right? Yeah, there you go. That's right. May be fitting for the theme of the trial as well. We have on January 18th coming up, there's a training, an all-day training in Wichita for the new software that you allowed us to buy. So I'm going to, and you guys, since we have access to those diversion funds, now I'll be able to get some rooms and pay for that and get all of my staff out there. So we'll be ready to go in April or May or whenever we get access to that software. So that'll be a good deal. And I don't know, there's much else to tell you, but other than we've got a trial coming up and got training coming up and everything's clicking along. So far so good. Got our new judge sworn in. That was a good, nice ceremony. She had a lot of people come over, and so she's here. We got the governor, I think in about a little bit under a month now, is going to be appointing our 2 new judges for our district. There won't be one in Linn County, but there'll be one seated in Bourbon and Miami. And I'm sure that there'll be some bleed over. I'm sure they'll use our other office at some point in their other courtroom.
Come to Linn County.
Yes. So that'll be a good deal. Be interesting to see.
So what's your schedule like as far as, since we've got a few minutes, have you got some potential trials coming up besides the one on the 7th?
Yeah, there's one on the 7th. There's another one mid-December, and there's another one first week of January. The one mid-December, I think, is probably unlikely to go. The one at the beginning of January seems likely to go. The defense attorney has filed a motion to suppress evidence, and if it may kind of, if the judge does not grant him that motion, then they may want to resolve it and not have a trial. If the judge does suppress that evidence, then that may change how the state wants to approach it too. So,
And for just public knowledge too, when there's scheduling for a trial, but they decide to go with something different and not have a trial, what's that based on?
well, that can be for a number of reasons. Like I just described, on the one in January, the defense has filed a motion to suppress evidence. And if the judge grants that motion, then there's evidence that I'm not able to put on, then I may not be able to prove my case anymore, and we may get it resolved some other way. The one that didn't go, there was a witness issue. That we couldn't, and it's kind of the same deal. So that creates a problem with us being able to prove the case. So we don't go through with the trial. Alternatively, if the judge doesn't grant the motion, the defendant knows that evidence is going to come in, then he may think that there's probably a pretty good chance that he's going to be convicted and maybe more interested in negotiating something than having a trial. It could just be sometimes you might just have an obstinate defendant sometimes who just doesn't want to do anything to the last second. You get that, or they just play chicken to see if you're going to blink or back down. And I mean, there's a number of reasons, but again, specifically in January, I expect it to come down to an evidence question, what evidence is going to come in and not come in, and that may dictate whether we have a trial or not.
Okay. I don't have anything else.
All right.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for.
Thank you.
We'll see you. Todd,
Yes, sir.
guess you're next.
I'm a lucky guy, ain't
There you go.
I? Todd Moeller, Asphalt Division. Sean said I needed to come in and talk to you guys about my plans for next year and any questions that you guys might have. I'm going to be focusing up around the Lacine area, Young Road, Vale, Valley, Sadler. Those are all roads that are out of rotation for chip seal. I've got a couple south of Mound City that I really need to get covered up with some good rock. As we talked, we're going to start getting the quarries to do more of a wash chip for us again. That way we can do better testing on it to see if we can get a better product, so we don't have a repeat of this year.
And Todd, you pretty much, when you took over for John, you've got the schedule of how you rotate each year, right?
Yeah.
And do you rotate to each district? I mean, so next year, it sounds like you're in Lacine. Is the following year going to be in Pleasant or Mound Cedar, or is that
Well-
void?
The problem we're having right now is when Adam Church took over for a couple of years,
Yeah,
the roads were falling out of rotation, and he did a lot of jumping around.
okay,
So my first year in, I jumped Blue Mound, Pleasanton, Mount City, trying to catch back up what he didn't do to get it back in. And I'm going to try to focus where we chip seal in one area. I'm going to try to cut the county into a grid and chip only certain parts of it and then patch certain parts of it. That way we're not trying to move equipment halfway across the county every single time to just go do 4 or 5 miles of road. I'd like to where if we're going to chip in an area, if it's the southern part, Mound City, Pleasanton, we do that. If it's Lacey, Parker, we do that. That way we're not trying to jump all over the county and I can use a quarry wherever they're located. A little more cost effective, I think, and a little more easier to make sure we get everything in that area done.
that sounds good.
That's something Todd and I talked this week about that too, as far as the washed rock. We got away from washed rock in 2015 or 16. It used to all be washed, and we stopped this. And I don't know whether we just verify that we are getting washed rock. Should we purchase so much from them with a pile of our own, or what?
That I mean,
It's not going to it's not going to go bad if you do it.
Well, what I'm saying is like what happened too with what we was getting. If you don't actually take a sample, like Harry was one, and Todd, he thought it was right too. If you don't take it off the conveyor belt, and even if it's got a lot of lime in it, the lime separates and goes in one part, and the big pile that's there, you might end up with the lime.
Yeah.
Where we're putting it on the road, and I think we've got to go back to the washed rock.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
if
you
we
got
can-
it down now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, this year just was kind of a weird year. I mean, for the last couple of years, we haven't used wash rock, obviously. I was under the assumption it was because every year before then, I've got people that have worked here longer than I have, can attest to watching water run out of the back of the dump trucks when we would haul our chips.
Yeah.
So it was kind of weird to me that we weren't getting it, but it'd be nice to go back to it.
Yeah.
That way we can, get a better quality on it.
Well, Whitaker did say he could start washing it, but I don't know Ham. He didn't really.
Well, I got when the gentleman was here last and before he left, I talked to him and he's supposed to be getting me some numbers on what it would take to wash. And if they're actually going to crush, I'd like to see if they're going to crush or if they have crushed up around the Lacine quarry, just because of the location where we're going to be chipping. It would be so much more convenient to have that quarry provide. So
He didn't say yes or no. He just, is he like a overall for several different rock quarries that was representing?
yeah, I believe he's more of a district kind of individual.
Yeah, he didn't say they wouldn't.
And he said,
He
Yeah.
didn't throw a number out either, did he?
no. And as he said, he just got put in the position, so
Yeah.
this was all green to him. So,
Yeah.
but
And then also on the like 1077, when we have contracted, sometimes we've contracted somebody to do that for us.
Yeah.
Over the years. You got any of those coming up?
yeah, next year I'm trying to figure out which one is the worst candidate, but Wall Street from 7 Highway in about 6 miles, or 1095 from 7 Highway north
Okay.
are my two main choices because they're really starting to get a lot of swag and a lot of breaks in them. And I went through and patched a lot on Wall Street, and I was told by Bettis that if we can go in and kind of help level the road out and get it to where it works, when they come in and put their 1.5 inches on, it actually gives us our true 1.5 inches. And it doesn't allow it to have any kind of a swag or a rut. And that's why we were kind of prepping Wall Street first, because that does get heavily traveled, but so does 1095. So it's kind of a toss up between those two. So I'm going to have to go out and actually see which one's the worst candidate. And those are my two choices.
Sounds good.
Sounds a good move.
Any other questions, sirs?
Appreciate it. Hey, is your equipment okay?
Everything's running good so far. We did have a little bit of a hiccup with the pump on the distributor, but it's fine. It works great now. Other than that, everything's been doing good. I got a couple of repairs to do on tires and things like that.
Tanks all in and everything.
Huh?
Your tanks over there that you still don't have them.
No. But we got everything ready for them, so whenever they're ready, we're ready.
Just haven't delivered them yet.
Yep. They ain't hit the ground. So
Did we get rid of the big tank in Lacey?
That I don't know. The last time I talked
I didn't think about asking.
Yeah, I didn't. Last time I talked to Mike, they hadn't, but when I talked to Wes,
You know, Sean?
I don't believe it's been picked up yet.
yeah, I don't think it has.
Is that Wes picking that up?
Yeah.
Didn't we have to remove the oil?
No.
We didn't? He's gonna take it like it is?
Yeah, he said he'll handle the disposal of it.
Wow. Yeah. Just don't laugh.
But yeah, other than that, there's nothing else. The only thing I'd really like to do, and we're kind of working with him, is one of these days I'd like to get a high flow milling head for one of the new skid steers, just for the fact that we could go out and get rid of some of the rough approaches on bridges and things of that nature. Our little 18-inch gill,
Just for the purpose of shocking us, how much does those cost?
$20,000, $25,000 for brand new. Well, probably $30,000 for brand new, if I was going to say.
It kept going up.
Yeah,
Started at
yeah,
50.
depending on who it is. I mean, if you want me to buy a really nice one, 6-digit, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Are there very many ever on Purple Wave or anything
No.
that you ever see that?
No, they're
How long
rare items.
would they last us?
Us, they probably last us quite a few years.
Okay.
The gill we've got, I'm gonna say, is probably maybe early '90s model, and it's lasted this whole time. It just now developed a leak to where we're gonna have to repair it.
So what's the benefit of having this new?
Well, any high spots we have, like some of our bridge approaches are kind of rough. We could go and do that. When we go in to do a true repair, we could actually mill it down first and then roll our patch into that instead of raising the road up for a small amount, which that doesn't really affect anything, but we could actually grind our swag out. 1700 road, we had a spot where the road actually set higher than the center, the edge of the road, because it had pushed so hard. We could actually mill that down back to taper and then put our patch on top of that.
Okay.
So it would help us reshape the road as necessary.
Okay.
Any other news, gentlemen, or any other questions? No?
I don't think so.
All right,
Thank you. Jake didn't say a word.
David, you got anything else?
What about the 15th? Is that just your people? It says audit.
Yeah, I've got a board lined up to come in tomorrow.
Just a reminder, I've reminded everybody for the last 2 months, I won't be here on the election canvas day.
21st?
Yeah. So you're gonna
So we got something else coming.
have Danny sleep over so he can get him to work here.
I will be here by myself. We got something else coming. Well, Missy was gonna come that week, so.
Yeah, if you want to put her off, we can. She was wanting to come and usually do some brainstorming about some uses for like final grant from.
You know what'd be good is, Jason's, although he's been elected, he don't take office till January. That would be a good project for him to work on with him. Right? What do you think? Maybe we could ask him to come in, see if he'll come in for that. I mean, it's gonna affect him.
Okay.
Are you gonna appoint Darren to take my spot for that election canvas?
Well, if he wants to, it'll be fine.
He made us go into executive session today, so I think he should.
But we'll work it out.
All right.
We're supposed to start that at 9:30 next week. because
9:30
that's
next week.
the time period their canvas is supposed to start, so. So I don't know on the health department deal, do we want to put that off another week then, or?
If you feel like that would be better, what is the following?
It'll be the 28th.
Well, the 21st, 28th, yeah.
That might be better. I'll email it.
Yeah, if you want to just let me know on that on scheduling and all. I guess just for information, election night went really smooth. We were done by around 9:30, I think. We got the audit tomorrow. We've got a board coming in to do that, so they will have to, there's 5 different races we have to audit and just one precinct on each one of them.
Who assigns those? Does that come from
The
State.
Secretary of State assigns the races, and then we do a random selection of which precinct
Okay.
to audit. And it goes all the way from well, since there were constitutional amendments, one of them, and a national race, a state race, and all the way down to a local. Well, the only local we had that was on their list was county commission. So even though Jason was running unopposed, they'll have to audit his race in one of the precincts, and it's just verifying that they can do a hand count to get to the same number the machines did. And I don't expect any problems on that. Last election, we had one vote difference in one precinct on one, and it was easily explainable. It was they'd filled in the O and no instead of the oval next to no, and the audit
Oh.
counted it. And I took a picture of that and sent it to the Secretary of State with my report, and they said they understood that, and that was fine. If there was a discrepancy that I can't explain, then the Secretary of State would probably have us audit more races just to make sure everything was okay, but we've never had to do that, so. But we'll get that done, and then that'll be part of the canvas, is having you guys review the audit results, because we've got a sheet that shows what the election night results were, and then we'll fill in the audit and compare those numbers.
Okay. Anything else?
I think I'm good.
You good, Gary?
Yes, I am.
Sean, you don't have anything else? Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You did a good job. Oh. I'll do even better.